In the headlines, troops kill 2 terrorists in Borno State, recover weapons. Nigeria's Inspector General of Police kicks against state police, proposes merger of FRSC and the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps. Court vacates order suspending APC's national chairman, Abdullahi Ganduje. On the foreign scene, Israeli Army intelligence chief resigns amidst Hamas attack. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Borno State as troops of the Nigerian Army deployed for counter-terrorism operations in northeast Nigeria have killed 2 terrorists on their way to attack Mashuri village in Borno State. A statement by the Department of Army Public Relations on Monday says the feat was achieved in conjunction with the Civilian Joint Task Force in a clearance operation. According to the statement, 2 AK-47 rifles, 2 magazines, 58 rounds of 7.62mm special ammunition and a motorbike used by the terrorists were recovered during the operations. The troops also recovered levy tickets and 60,000 naira cash believed to be linked to the terrorists' illicit extortion activities. The Secretary of the Multinational Joint Task Force, Monguno, says more terrorists have continued to surrender to the Nigerian Army in the region. Among the latest to lay down their arms were 2 individuals identified as improvised explosive device experts. A statement by Chief Military Public Information Jamina Lieutenant Colonel Abubakar Abdullahi says the terrorists surrender on Sunday, 21st of April 2024, marks a notable success in the ongoing campaign to dismantle Boko Haram's operations in the region. Items recovered from the surrendered operatives of the insurgents include 2 IEDs, 2 mobile phones, and a sum of 53,000 naira. Still talking security, the Inspector General of Police, Kaide Betokun, says Nigeria is not mature for state police. The Inspector General of Police said this at the National Dialogue on State Police organized by the House of Representatives in Abuja on Monday. The theme of the dialogue is Pathways to Peace, Reimagining Policing in Nigeria. The Inspector General, who was represented by Ben Okolo, an Assistant Inspector General of Police, says the leadership of the force has resolved that the country is not ripe for state police. According to him, since the force has made a stand, Nigeria is not ready for the establishment of state police. The Inspector General of Police also proposed that the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps and the Federal Road Safety Corps should be merged to become a department under the Nigerian Police. He says the recruitment of police personnel into the force should also be increased by at least 30,000 annually to meet the minimum policing standard of the United Nations. In other news, Kano State High Court, presided over by Justice Usman Malam Naabba, that gave an order suspending the national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje of the All Progressive Congress, has reversed itself and vacated the order. 2 party members, Haladu Gwanjo and Lamini Sani Burguma, who claimed to be the chairman and secretary of the APC Ganduje ward in Dawaking Tofa local government area of Kano State, had secured an order suspending Ganduje as the chairman of the party. However, in a twist of events, the presiding judge of the High Court, Justice Usman Naabba, says while vacating his earlier order that the court took the decision upon reading a motion ex parte together with a 27-paragraph affidavit in support and a written address dated 22nd of April 2024 and sworn by one Gloria Da, a litigation secretary in the 4th Respondent Solicitors law firm. Now, the judge that then adjourned to 30th day of April 2024 for hearing of the case. Staying with developments in the courts, the Court of Appeal in Abuja on Monday did not sit to hear the appeal lodged by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, against the order of a Kogi High Court, which restrained the anti-graft agency from arresting the immediate past governor, Yaya Bello. The Kogi Court, in a ruling on April 17, restrained the EFCC from arresting, detaining, and prosecuting the former governor. The judge, I.A. Jamil, gave the order in a 2-hour judgment delivered in Lokoja, the Kogi state capital, on Wednesday this past week. The judgment coincided with the siege on Bello's Abuja home by operatives of the DSS in a bid to arrest the former governor. The EFCC is seeking to arraign the former governor of Kogi state on 19 counts bordering on alleged money laundering, breach of trust, and misappropriation of funds to the tune of 80.2 billion naira. The anti-graft agency, determined to get Bello to face the law for his alleged crime, approached the Federal High Court in Abuja on the same day to get an arrest warrant. The warrant was issued following an ex parte motion filed by the EFCC. In a related development, members of the North Central Citizens Council have accused the presidency of ethnic suppression and plans to marginalize the leadership of the North Central. The position of the group was a reaction from the ongoing legal battle between the former governor of Kogi State and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The NCCC says Yaya Bello is a victim of a political witch hunt under the guise of fighting corruption in the country.
First, we see it as a case of political victimization and not that of a fight against corruption, as it is being presented to the unsuspecting members of the public. The facts are there. The said fraud for which Yaya Bello is being hounded was allegedly committed when he was not even the governor of Kogi State. Moreover, 2 people who were also not government appointees as at then have been charged with the same offense in the past. Secondly, nobody will be misled into thinking that the current regime is fighting corruption. If EFCC is desirous of fighting corruption, they should start from the presidency and then to Lagos State, which has been the corruption hub in the country since the current democratic dispensation. They should also probe the FIRS, the judiciary, and the NNPC. That is when we will now take them seriously. We strongly believe that the onslaught against the North Central leaders is part of the urbanization process that began since the coming of Tinubu, wherein the major sensitive positions like presidency, the CJF, CBN, FIRS, Customs, EFCC, Immigration, IGP, and Attorney General, among others, are in hands of this same ethnic group. If Yaya Bello is further humiliated and hounded by the federal government, we will stage a mega protest that will reverberate around the country. If the president occupies the Aso Villa, we will occupy the Ego Square. If the Attorney General occupies the courtrooms, we will take over Abuja City Gate. If the IGP occupies the Luis Edet House, we will occupy the Ego Square. And if they occupy borders with immigration, we will occupy the streets of Abuja and Nigeria. We say no to ethnic suppression, we say no to Yoruba arrangement, and we say no to persecution and miscarriage of justice.
All right, let's circle back to the developments in Borno State, where Hamisu Matazu, the regional editor of Daily Trust, is joining us to give us an update on the recent operations of the Nigerian military, the multinational joint task force, where 2 IED experts have surrendered to the Nigerian military, as well as other developments within the region. Matazu, thank you so much for making the time. What more have we learned, especially about this surrender? Is this a sign that, you know, the insurgents are feeling the heat and they would rather surrender than face the firepower of the Nigerian military?
Thank you very much. If you can remember very well, sometimes about 2 days ago, There was detonation of explosive device along the same route, and it killed about 6 passengers, wounded many. And at that time, when we spoke to the Assistant Director of Public Relations, Deputy Director of Public Relations of Sector 3, he made mention that they are carrying out sensitization campaign within the area, telling people about the signs they can avoid when they see and report to the military for action. I don't know, maybe it's part of what is yielding result that yesterday we saw the surrender of about 2 bomb experts, and they claim to have been sent by their commanders to plant the explosive. But they feel they cannot beat and went to surrender to the military. Right. So by this we can say it's development, and we can see what the military are saying, that they are doing their best.
Right. And looking at how young these operatives are, what more can you tell us about, the forces that the Nigerian army as well as the Nigerian society is having to deal with, looking at the human resource that the Boko Haram insurgents, the ISWAP insurgents are using?
We have been saying this over and over. The insurgents attacking innocent civilians, and they have now resorted to planting explosives by the roadside, which even the military had admitted. And this has been happening for a very long time. What we are calling on the military is to look into the issue, because it has become very disturbing, and civilians are mostly the casualties. So by this, we can say that the military is supposed to intensify their operations in areas, especially around the Lake Chad general area, to comb the areas and see how they can rid off the insurgents from there.
Right. And just very briefly on the operations of the multinational joint task force that led to the killing of 2 terrorists in the Moru Shori area. What more can you tell us about that, especially with regards to what was found on the terrorists? We understand that extortion is one of those means they use to stay active, exploiting some of these volatile communities. What more can you tell us about this operation?
I cannot comment much on that because it's something that though they have made they issue a statement over it that the operation was successful, and as journalists I think we need to dig more to see who are the real culprits that were found in the act. Right. And I think that's what we can do for now.
Hamisu Matazu, as always, thank you very much for the update and for joining us at this time.
Thank you.
All right, Hamisu Matazu there, regional editor of the Daily Trust, speaking to us on the recent military operations in Borno State, where 2 terrorists were neutralized in operation by the multinational joint task force, as well as the surrender of 2 Boko Haram IEDs. Experts who have surrendered to the Nigerian military. Moving on now, the history of jungle justice in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, mostly linked to motorcycle business operators, especially as most victims are alleged to be motorcycle snatchers who were caught in the act. This, however, has been condemned by many in the ancient town who say there needs to be changes so that victims can get a fair hearing as well as those who were caught innocently as a result of mob action. Here's Jimmy Azande with more on the story.
Both the African tradition, Christianity, and the Muslim religion forbid the killing of humans by fellow human beings. To most African cultures, It is a taboo to spill human blood, and the act, done consciously or unconsciously, requires some cleansing. In recent times, it has become common that people are killed often through jungle justice.
Our members, they borrow this bike on a high purchase, and it's not easy for them to meet up the requirements. And you know, as a poor man, before you get a single cocoa, you will suffer for it. Yeah. So in the course of doing this thing, to my own side, I would say it's not good.
But many of the folks who carry out the inhuman act ignore or do not appreciate the fundamental human rights of suspects.
When reaching there, some young men, two of them, they approached me. One of them asked me to off my machine. While I said no, he said I should off my machine repeatedly. So I heard some persons coming towards us. So he now left us and
also, they do not violate the right of persons that are also assumed to be perpetrators when otherwise have not been declared guilty by any court of law. And just they are sensitive to all of these issues.
The police are calling on Benue residents and Nigerians to reach out to the trained officers with cases of suspected criminals rather than becoming the complainants, persecutors, and the judges.
We are calling on members of the public that there will be no justification for any man to go into crime or to take another man's life. Let us report such cases to the police. If you are able to arrest such suspects, hand them over to the police and they will be handled in accordance with the law.
2 suspected motorcycle snatchers were mobbed to death last week in Makurdi by irate youths. While the situation is being investigated, the residents of the state are urged to desist from taking the laws into their hands, no matter the gravity of the offense one is suspected to have committed. Jimmy Azandi, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
This is the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Finding sustainable job opportunities for women in Jigawa through skills acquisition. More on this after the break. Welcome back to the news. Let's take another look at our top stories. Troops kill 2 terrorists in Borno, recover weapons. Nigeria's Inspector General of Police speaks against the creation of state police, proposes the merger of the Federal Road Safety Corps as well as the Nigeria Civil Defense Corps. To Adamawa State, where Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintri has pledged the commitment of the state government in rebuilding the Yola main market days after a devastating inferno destroyed goods worth hundreds of millions of naira. The governor made the announcement during an assessment visit to the destroyed Yola market, while noting that the market will be upgraded to a more modern facility to accommodate vibrant economic activities.
This is the 4th time the Yola market will be razed down by inferno, resulting in the loss of properties worth millions of naira. Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintri, in an on-the-spot assessment visit to sympathize with the victims in the early hours of Monday, reels out plans to stop the ugly trend. Governor Fintri outlines plans to rebuild the Yola market to a modern one, a project expected to commence next month.
But what I'm assuring them is that this market will be rebuilt. We'll rebuild in a modern way. We'll rebuild with structures that will stand the test of time, that will be fire resistance. This is my assurance to them. And this rebuilding of this market, which is in the capital of Jimeta, in the capital of Adamawa, the center of the commercial city, will be rebuilt in less than 1 month. I'm going to VIA and look at how we can go into emergency to build this market so that they can continue their life in the normal way. Particularly now that we are going through a lot of economic hardship in the country, we will not allow our businessmen to be idle. We will not allow them to suffer for too long. I'm assuring them that with the mandate they have given me, I will use it judiciously to ensure that I alleviate this suffering. I ensure that this market is rebuilt in no time and reorganized in such a way that such an incident would hardly reoccur again in the future.
Apart from rebuilding the market, the governor also promised to support all those affected by the inferno. The leadership of the markets, in their separate remarks, thanked Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintri for the prompt response, promising to support the Fresh Air administration.
Allah Ubangiji kuma ya baka iko yi muna bayan ka 100%. Allah Ubangiji ya tattara gwamnatin ka ya kare ta ya kare mu gaba daya. Allah kuma ya ba mu zaman lafiya.
With these pronouncements of rebuilding and assisting victims of the inferno by the governor, this is a testament that the Fintri-led administration is truly the government for the people. Unlike its slogan, no one is left behind and nothing is left untouched.
Now, a group of women in Jigawa State have found a sustainable way to empower themselves economically through traditional cap making. Now, the traditional craft has become a source of income and pride for many women in Jigawa State. Ali Rabiu met these local cap makers and sent in this report.
Women in Shuarin community of Kiawa local government area of Jigawa State have formed groups to produce caps made from cotton fabric. The caps, which are highly sought after by men in the region, are worn as a symbol of cultural identity and considered an important part of traditional attire, as well as an economic opportunity for women.
Yes, most of the people that used to patronize us are women, more especially within the age range of from 12 to up to 25 to 26 years old. Even though there are some older women that also into this business of sewing cap, but for now the young ladies have overcome all the people that used to buy our products in sewing this cap. You can see them walking around. Some of them, they are even perfect that as they are walking, they are also sewing the cap.
Amina Sani is a 17-year-old local cap maker from Andaza community in Kiawa local government area of the state. She says this business gives her independence as she is able to earn a living, but not without some challenges. This business has brought me fortune as I bought many things including goods, utensils, makeup materials among others. I also support my parents from the proceeds, but the major challenge we are facing is rising inflation and cost of materials. I embrace this business in the absence of a more lucrative occupation that will bring me more money than cap making. I used to finish a single cap in 4 weeks' time or in 3 weeks if I am less busy, and from the proceeds I buy home appliances and my makeup kits ahead of my marriage. The thriving cap-making craft in Jigawa State has helped to preserve the cultural heritage of the region, as men feel incomplete without caps in terms of dressing in traditional attire. Despite facing challenges such as inflation and material costs, these entrepreneurs find a way to keep going through resilience and determination.
If our government, more especially in the northern part, because we are the ones that traditionally make use of this cap, if our government would be able to establish the companies that can supply us with this trade, I believe the cost of the trade, it will be lesser. And also, it has to do because this trade is 100% cotton. So cotton production can also enhance the availability of the trade, and establishment of the companies will also help in stabilizing the market.
I sell the caps at Shuarim Market for about 6,000 or 5,500, but I hope the cost of materials will reduce so more people can buy our caps. As the demand for these caps continues to resonate with local identity, the hope is that the support from the government will ensure the sustainability and growth of this significant industry within Jigawa State.
Let's turn our attention now to developments on the international scene. Israel's military intelligence chief has resigned after taking responsibility for the failures leading to the Hamas attack on October 7, according to the military, on Monday, as Israel carried out more shellings in war-battered Gaza overnight. General Aharon Haliva is the first top Israeli official to step down for failing to prevent the Hamas attack, which triggered the war in Gaza and brought the government and the military under intense scrutiny across Israel. Haliva, in his resignation letter, says the intelligence division under his command did not live up to the task they were entrusted with. Israel has meanwhile lashed out at reports that its top ally, the United States, is considering sanctioning the military's ultra-Orthodox Netzer Yehuda battalion over the alleged human rights abuses in the West Bank from before the war. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in a post on X, said at a time when Israeli soldiers are fighting terror, the intention to impose a sanction on a unit in the IDF, that is the military army of Israel, is the height of absurdity and, quote, a moral low. Netanyahu said late Sunday that Israeli military would increase military pressure to, quote, deliver additional and painful blows to Hamas in the coming days without elaborating further. All right, that's it. You're up to date with the latest news stories at this hour. We'll be back a little later with more news stories. But for now, follow us across our social media platforms to catch up with more of our contents. Take a look at our website, trusttv.com, for the latest news and documentaries. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. Thank you for your time.